When you're in trouble, you know who to call. The Nincompoops. Na 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 na. The Nincompoops.
Poops.
All right, you guys just heard our first official theme song. Okay, we had a music writer and everything, and we had to bust it out right now. Welcome everyone. Welcome back. Podcast time. With your favorite hosts, Jim, and then the other hosts, Dean and Paul.
Yes, I'm Paul.
I am Dean.
What's up with
The other
airplane
host.
food?
No.
All right. Pardon our late start today. We had technical problems. Paul was
Tentacle
busy.
problems. Ooh.
His hand was stuck up his ass. We didn't ask why it was up there in the first place, so we just give him instructions.
Yeah.
That was totally my bad. I 100% forgot today was podcast day today.
We caught him.
I was just
Okay.
I had this rare condition where today I just felt like watching a movie, and so I decided to watch a movie about about an hour and 12 minutes into the movie until I had to stop when Jim kept messaging me like, "Yo, Paul, where you at? Podcast day today." I'm like, "Oh fuck." And
Yeah. And then his hand was up his ass, and then we're like, did you try using mustard to loosen it? He didn't have any mustard, so he had to use soy sauce, but then the soy sauce wasn't enough, so he added butter, and that still wasn't enough, so he added mayonnaise, and those three things provided enough lubricant for his hand to get out of his ass. So
Yeah.
if you ever find yourself stuck in that situation, just find mayo, soy sauce, and butter. Mix them up, and yeah. And now it is a toxic stew in Paul's ass right now, but Paul's gonna take care of it after the podcast.
Don't worry though. I have a bidet. A bidet. The ones that we keep talking about, I have it. So no worries. It's already gone. I already washed it away like magic.
Yeah.
But yeah, while he was gone, we were working on our new theme song, so we got that done. If you guys want to buy or download the new theme song, you can find it on iTunes. At it's the Nincompoops. Nincompoops is the name of the song. All right, but anyway, now that we're here,
Yes.
we're gonna start off with a topic which you might find interesting. Our live chatter, Jedediah. We're gonna talk about tips and advice as to what you guys should do in preparation for your trip next year. And if you find it helpful, you can get like a notepad or something so you can write some stuff down. Or you can just, try to memorize it off the top of your head, or just, go back to this later where you can just write down the important stuff we say because, that might help you guys later on.
Oh,
And yeah.
Awesome.
We haven't done this in a while.
Fun fact, we went to Japan, so we can help you out.
What?
Fun fact. We never talk about it, but it's out there now.
Fun fact: it's been 2 years since we've been there.
That's
Actually,
crazy.
in a few days, it would be 2 years since we came back too.
Yeah.
So.
Since
Yeah.
I know. I didn't realize it until like one day when I think Jim and I were just hanging out in our Discord, and he just mentioned like, "Oh yeah, it would have been 2 years since we first set foot in Japan," and I didn't realize that at the time. I was like, "That's crazy. It's 2 years." Time flew by, kind of, but also took really long to get here at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I get you.
I still want a mulligan from last year, but I'll complain about that later, I suppose.
Yeah. I guess we can use each what we're talking about. We just try to remember everything or as much as we can as to what can help you plan your trip because I'm sure you've been to other countries before, Joram, but with Japan, I guess there's some things that are unique to that country that you might not know about in preparation for it. But yeah. All right, let's just get straight into it. So
All right, I'm gonna start off with
our residential Japan expert here.
yeah, Dean's been to Japan a couple times, unlike us
I
one
lived there
timers.
for 4 years. First and foremost, the Stairmaster. Get on that. There's a lot of walking. There's a lot of walking in Japan, and a lot of standing. I think that the Stairmasters will help you with your stamina, because I think every time we we went somewhere and then came back, my legs were just dead tired every time. I think since
and then they're going in June too, so it's
yeah.
I mean, it's probably gonna be hot there around then.
Yeah, it's gonna be hot.
So walking around's gonna suck.
Wouldn't the Stairmaster be more like if you're doing more vertical climbing though? If there's like a lot of stairs involved, like
I think it's just leg build
there's
up.
legs in
just
general,
leg build up, yeah.
But
yeah,
I suppose. But you don't necessarily need to do Stairmaster specifically. Just as long as you do like a lot of walking.
Stop listening to Paul. Paul's a kinesiology major.
All right, find an apartment. Find an apartment area and just go up the stairs over and over.
Keep walking around.
Build out that tolerance.
Yeah.
But I guess I think one of the most important things that I just thought about right now is that you need to find or look for a place to stay, and you get two choices unless I'm forgetting something. You either choose an Airbnb or you can choose like a hotel or something similar to that.
Yeah.
And Airbnb, I'm pretty sure from day to day it's gonna be less expensive, right?
Yeah. Pros and cons for Airbnb would be cheaper than hotels. Also, you can buy your own stuff and eat it there, and
you can treat it as like your temporary house, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Con would be the size of it.
Really?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say the.
I think it would depend on the hotel, because the hotel we stayed at for one day.
Yeah, because we've only had that one experience with that hotel.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's just like I don't know if that's the norm or if that was just like an outlier of just that one hotel.
Yeah.
Most hotels usually are like that, but some of them are smaller.
I think regardless, though, I think it's really important for you guys to find a place to stay, a good amount of time before you guys go on a trip. Because when we planned it, I think we didn't. When did we finalize like the Airbnb and hotel? Was it March?
We had like 3 months left before it.
It was relatively late.
Yeah,
it was like March or April, right? Yeah, and I think we already told the reason why. It was because Ron was indecisive, so we couldn't plan it. Because what happens when you try to book a Airbnb or hotel, or maybe not the hotel, but the Airbnb, they requested us to show them our passports and everything, so they could process it at the same time. So the reason why we can book ours earlier, even though we were making it official that we're gonna go for a while before we actually booked it, is because Ron wasn't sure if he was gonna go, so we needed him to show the passport if he was gonna go. But because he didn't decide, we had to wait quite a while before we could actually book something.
Yeah.
So I would recommend, at least when you book a hotel, obviously things might be different because of COVID, because COVID could still happen next year. For example, so this is subject to change, of course. So we're basing everything we know off of what was like pre-COVID, basically.
Pre-COVID, yeah. Back when the world was relatively normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, tourism in Japan dropped massively, so it could be different. But this is what we would recommend anyway. Is that get it at least 6 months before you actually go. So maybe start booking it around December, January. Basically, the sooner the better. Don't wait until you only have like 3 months left, because that can be really hard for you to get a place, and your options are a lot more limited the closer you are to the day you leave.
Do we know how many people in this group is going to Japan? Like how many people are going?
No.
I do. Joram said it's at least 3 other cousins.
3 other
cousins. So it's like a group of 4. Yeah. Group
4?
Of 4.
So
wait, Joram, we're cousins. Why am I not invited?
Wait, is it 4? Is it 4 cousins, or is it 4 including yourself? But regardless,
would it roughly be around the same size we had when we went?
Probably.
We had like 5 people.
We had 5 people, yeah. So it's roughly the same size as ours.
Okay.
But with 4 people, you might be able to get some like smaller Airbnbs with less rooms and shit. So you have a little bit more options than we did. But regardless, you will have way more options to choose from the sooner you begin booking it. So I think that part is just really important. Hotel wise, I don't think they asked for our passports, but it costed us like, for about one night, didn't it cost like 100 each or some shit? I forget.
That was pretty late though.
It wasn't around the same time as the Airbnb though, but it was still more per night, right?
It was still more.
Yeah, so the hotel was more per night, but I mean, our hotel was pretty good.
Yeah,
I enjoyed
I
my time
enjoyed it
there.
too.
So just depends. Just you do a little bit of research, but yeah, like I said, just plan in advance by like 6 months or so.
Yeah, definitely 6 months, or
Yeah.
earlier.
Um,
I also assume this is still like a conceptual concept for them when they're going to Japan. Like it of course is like I reckon if you want to go in more summer, you would want to go like south, like Okinawa or other
yeah.
places like
Also,
that. And if
I
you want to
don't
go
know.
more winter, you would want to go like north, I would assume, right, Dean?
Yeah.
That also reminds me. Yeah.
Yes.
Where you want to stay is also important because Japan, although it is a somewhat small country, like there's a lot of different places. So you could be staying you could be staying in like Osaka where we stayed at for a few days, or you can spend it in Tokyo area where we stayed most of the time. So you guys will also have to decide on like do a little bit of research on where you guys want to stay more at, or you guys want to do like half and half. But then you also have to take into account like if you do like half southern Japan and half Tokyo, for example, you would have to like take into account that you will be taking the bullet train from wherever you're gonna land and then to wherever it is, because you're gonna need a bullet train to go from Osaka to Tokyo or whatever. So add that to like potential costs as well, along with like public transport as well.
Does Japan only have like one international airport?
No,
They have a
it's
couple.
two.
They have a
A
couple.
couple. All right.
Yeah,
I
two.
know two, which is
He knows two. So there's
I
probably a
only know
couple
Hamada.
around.
That's it.
Narita is the other
Haneda?
one, and then
Haneda.
Haneda is the other
Fucking
one.
Battlefield 5. Haneda.
Yeah,
There we go.
so just think about where you want to visit. If you just want to stick around Tokyo, that's fine. Just look for places around Tokyo. But if you want to visit some parts in Osaka, some parts Tokyo, and some parts somewhere else, then
Yeah, you gotta
take all that into account as well.
you gotta split them.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do research on that part on where you want to go. Which reminds me, like an itinerary is also really useful. So what we did was that
We just
we had like
around.
a very rough idea of what we wanted to do, but
Very
nothing
rough.
like I want to go here. We just like when we got there, we're like, man, where should we go? And then we Googled like where to go.
Yeah.
That was my biggest pet peeve aside from the 7-Eleven thing was that a couple days after we arrived, like, so what is our plan to do here? And then I turned to Dean, and he was just like, oh, we just do whatever we want. I'm like, fuck.
My bad
we
for
didn't come
being-
up. We didn't come up with a plan.
So yeah, for the itinerary, have a good
My bad,
idea of where you
guys.
want to go. If you want, like, let's say you want to go to like, oh, what are cool places to have fun at? Maybe hit up like amusement park or something. So if you want to go to like Nintendo Land or like Disney, they have like a Disneyland there or some shit, right?
They had Disneyland
It's at,
and Disney Sea.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Yeah, or like-
Nintendo Land, they opened that up at like what the Universal Studios in Japan.
it's in
I
Osaka
heard-
Universal
Osaka.
Studios. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're like, oh, I want to go to Disneyland or I want to go to Nintendo Land or I want to go to the Tokyo Skytree where we were at in Tokyo, obviously. Just if you want to go to those places, just keep that in mind.
Put a day on
And
it
you-
instead of just
yeah,
like
Yeah, put a day on it or like figure out like if you're gonna be visiting a lot of Tokyo landmarks, you probably want to spend more time in Tokyo, for example. Just make sure you have a list of a rough idea of where you want to go. It doesn't have to be exact where it's like day 1 we do this, day 2 we do this, day 3 we do. It doesn't have to be like that because
yeah.
if you force yourself to follow an itinerary, that can take the fun out of it too. But just
Yeah,
have a
that's
rough
all I was
idea of
afraid of. But then again, I am carefree when I'm traveling.
yeah, just have a rough idea of like, or maybe like a tier list. Like, hey, we're gonna prioritize going to these places, and in these places, it would be kind of cool if we go here. But if we don't, it's fine. Just have priorities of where you want to go, and then adjust where you're gonna stay and what days you're gonna go to these places accordingly to whatever. I think it's also really
number
important.
one priority: get to the Kimi no Nawa stairs.
Step 2, you play the Akimi no Nawa music and then bob your head to it.
Bob your
Hell
head to it
yeah.
and make everyone cringe and leave, and then you get the whole place to yourself.
Hell
And also talk to the other people who are there.
Yeah.
Hey, you know this song. I know you know this song.
Hey, we got better pictures that way because I scared everyone off unintentionally, but it worked.
Yeah,
But yeah, this sounds like a more like general travel knowledge. though, as opposed to specifically Japan.
Well,
I
he
mean,
wanted advice. We're giving him advice. Okay.
still good advice, I say. But this
Um.
does not just apply to Japan. This applies for like any
Oh well,
trip, long trip
my
anywhere.
next tip applies for Japan.
Yeah.
Just Japan, I guess, because I think the only country that has this is Korea.
Yeah.
And it is the mobile or pocket Wi-Fi.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So,
Those were a
Get
lifesaver.
those. Like go
Before-
online.
yeah. Before we went on the trip, we Dean knew this one website or one company where you could order before you even go on the trip. You can rent out a pocket Wi-Fi, which is pretty much like this little machine you keep in your backpack or your pocket. That no matter where you go, you'll have Wi-Fi connection. So it'll make up for the lack of data, or whatever. And it'll cost. I think it costed me like $100 for the 2 weeks we were there.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
That shit.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi was like really good too.
Like
Yeah.
so I would spend money on that too. It's really worth it especially because your phone is not gonna be able to connect to a lot of things over there. Sadly.
Yeah, Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi. Japan has some dead spots. Because
Yeah.
some of them are like countryside.
Yep.
Where internet's
Yes.
like not that big.
So I think amongst the 5 of us, only 3 of us bought in.
Yeah,
Right?
3 of us bought in.
Yeah.
And the 2 that didn't buy pretty much like circulated the whole.
Yeah. So if there's 4 of you, I recommend if you. I don't know how you're doing the trip. If you're going as 4, then I recommend at least 2 people.
Yeah.
Being one. But if you guys are all doing your own thing, where the 4 of you guys split off to 4 or groups of 3 or split up to 3s or whatever. I would recommend probably each person have their own. It's gonna cost a lot, but it's really nice and useful to have.
For 2 weeks, it's
Especially-
like $100. Yeah.
Especially like if you're trying to figure out where to go, like on Apple Maps, Google Maps, whatever maps
Yep.
application you prefer. I think we had the most luck with Apple, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had the most luck with Apple Maps for some reason over there. So yeah, but if you guys are just going everywhere as a group before, you only need like 2. I think there's a data limit though. If I remember correctly.
It was unlimited, but like at certain point, you
Gets
pass,
slower?
like, yeah, it gets slower.
Okay.
But
yeah.
it's not as
so,
bad as the. So for like example, the Airbnb does give you like a pocket Wi-Fi, but theirs is like limited to. I think.
Oh, they were pretty weak. Yeah.
They were pretty weak. Like once you reach like, I think it was like 1 gigabyte, right, of data.
Mhm.
Then it's like it gets slower, and then can't have slow Wi-Fi when you're trying to navigate through Japan.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. Another thing was that what was it? The pocket Wi-Fi. I think. What was I gonna say? Fuck! I lost my train of thought.
I'm gonna add in another one. Pack lightly, or it really depends on you. Cause, for me, I like to travel with my blank travel blanket. Cause I don't like linen, linen sheets blanket. So yeah, pack accordingly. Make sure you have portable batteries.
it also helps since they're going into summer.
Yeah.
So, just
Yeah.
like
Bring some, not too much, but bring change of clothes because like maybe like for 5 days because you're gonna be showering like pretty much like every single day because
it is.
if you're going to summer, it's gonna be humid as shit and you're gonna be sweating all the time. It's gonna stick to you. So every time you go to your hotel or your Airbnb, you're gonna want to shower. So you're gonna need like quite a few outfits, but keep that in mind.
Yep.
I think another thing is to take into account that a lot of your money is gonna be going towards public
Food
transport as well.
And public transport.
Yeah, because I mean, when we went there, we went around Tokyo a lot, and all those train rides adds up. So
Yeah.
just keep that into account. I think I brought over like 1,200, I think, and I still had like 500 at the end of the trip, but a good chunk of that 700 was spent on
Public
on
transportation.
food and public transport. Yeah, especially the
Pick,
bullet train. The bullet train was like 100 on the
Yeah.
ride for one ride, right?
Yep.
And we took
Yep.
two. We took it twice because we went once from Tokyo to Osaka and another time from Osaka back to Tokyo.
Yep.
So
and piggybacking off of that point, specifically when it comes to money. When you're in Japan, most places only take cash. You won't be using your card a whole lot. And if you are using, it's usually to go to the ATM, which is you find from like inside of 7-Elevens or Family Marts or like what have yous, whatever like convenience stores, and you're going to be using your card to get more money.
Yeah,
So
use cash.
Yeah, you're going to be using cash, and my tip for this is when you go to Japan, bring like a coin bag or something to like carry all your
because we didn't have that. Yeah,
we didn't have that, and it was like a pain in the ass because like, all right, I legit had to create a system while we were there. Like, all right, the dollar coins or whatever yen coins we had
100 yen coins.
go in my left pocket, and then the other ones go in my right pocket because I didn't have anything to carry with me, and I didn't want to like grab into my backpack when I'm at the register trying to like buy things, and I'm already like flustered because of the language barrier and all that. So
yeah. If you guys think coin bags are cringe, I would change your mind.
bag.
You should change your
Yes.
mind because they're a big convenience to have, especially when you buy something that's like 87 yen or some shit, and you only and then you want to pay that exact amount without it, but you have like a 500 yen bill or some shit. You don't want to use that, It's nice to have that. What I did was that I had my wallet with like my bills in my left pocket and then my coins in my right pocket. But even then, it was still like, oh shit, which coin is what again? Adds up to whatever, and yeah.
I just tossed all my coins in the tip jar.
The nice thing is, though, if I remember correctly, when they do the tax thing, it's already added on what you see when you buy it.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about calculating like, oh, what's 10% of this plus what I see. If you see something that's like for like 184 yen, you just need to pay 184. You need to worry about math at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely. That's like one of like the best things about like one of the superior things about Japan. And going with the superior thing, as technologically advanced as Japan is, especially when it comes to bidet, when it comes to like their public transport system, when their subways and their Shinkansens and all that, it's still like weird in that they still only accept cash, and that it's like a very not 21st century sort of thing where everyone like uses card, because here in the US like I use card. I don't have to worry about cash unless I'm going to like specific establishments that only take cash, like my barber and all that. But in Japan's like we're advanced in some ways, but in other ways we're still in the 80s for some reason.
Like that's
cash. Not for me. I could pass up on the cash thing in Japan. I'd rather just use card and not worry about it.
Yeah. I mean, this is obvious for any country where you go to where you don't speak a language, but it'll be nice if one of you guys, at least one of you guys, just has some like basic stuff as to like asking for directions or when you're ordering food, it'll be a lot easier to order food too. What I did was I just pointed at everything. So if you don't know how to speak Japanese at all, whenever you order food, just point. Don't feel afraid to point.
Yeah.
If you have to interact with a person, just point at like, oh, I want this, I want this, I want this. Most of the time, or not most of the time, but sometimes there'll be machines, so you don't have to worry about human interaction, which we've talked about a couple times.
Those machines.
Yes.
But if you do, don't feel afraid to point. And also, even then, it's still nice to have at least one of you guys like know enough Japanese to at least order food or ask for directions or whatever other basic stuff you need.
And yeah, when it comes to like the language barrier thing, Japan, surprisingly enough, in being in a country where not too many people speak English, or if they do, it's pretty bad English. Not to diss on Japan, but I hear that English learning in Japan is actually like pretty bad in Japan. But despite that fact, though, and especially in places like Tokyo, you could surprisingly get by pretty well without speaking any Japanese and only speaking English. Because as we mentioned before, like the kiosks where you could like order food at restaurants, like where like at like a lot of like ramen places, it's like a vending machine where you like, all right, this is the ramen I want. You put your money in, you get it, and then out pops a ticket, and then you pass that ticket over to the cook, and they'll just make it for you, and then pass it to you when you're done. So Japan has a lot of convenient things, and for tourists specifically, in that you're able to get by without speaking a whole lot of Japanese. When it comes to living in the country, though, I hear it's a lot more different, in that you have to know Japanese. But I'm assuming you guys aren't planning to live in Japan anytime soon. If you are,
when in doubt, point it out. All right, it's the easiest terminology I could bring out. Because that's what the military taught me. That if you're struggling, talk to like a Japanese person and you're trying to get like food or something, or you're trying to get somewhere, just point it out and they'll probably figure out what you're trying to do. I've tried it. And,
this is gonna sound kind of obvious or kind of or even a little bit hypocritical as well. Is that there's other food besides sushi and ramen, so don't feel afraid if I try other stuff. I'm sure there's a few anime fans.
Sushi ramen.
I'm sure there's a few anime fans in your group, so they probably know this. But there's other foods. Like I know we eat ramen at least 3 times each, I think. Yeah. So we're probably not the best person to tell you this, but there are other foods you can try out. Like if you're going in June, I'm pretty sure they'll have the unagi, which is delicious. Ooh. So take advantage of that. Eat unagi.
Yeah. Damn.
The food's good.
The food is very good in Japan. It's like most places. I don't remember ever having like a bad experience when it came to food in Japan.
Yeah, and if you're in a rush where you want like a quick snack or something, if you want a quick snack or something, convenience stores, man, there's a lot of stuff that you can get. You can get croissants, like what Paul did. He bought croissants in Japan of all places.
They're pretty good. They're not French quality croissants, but they're still pretty good. They're pretty bomb.
Yeah, for a late night snack, you can get some cup noodles or some shit to when you bring it to your Airbnb at night, you can like heat it up with some water.
Try out
the cup noodles there are pretty good too.
Try out their like different flavor cup of ramen.
In every convenience store, there's always karage in the front. Those
are the shit, man.
Yeah, those are the shit. And if you want to get the karage, I suggest going pretty early in the morning because those seem to go out pretty quick for some reason, or at least in our experience, it did.
Yeah, onigiri is also in every single one, so you can use to have those as like a travel snack where you're like on the bullet train or some shit.
And they're only 104 yen. That's already tax included.
That's about
$1.
It's about $1.04.
Yeah.
And if you eat 7-Eleven two meals in a row, don't feel bad about it. Okay, ignore the Paul in the group. Ignore him. His opinion doesn't mean anything. Just keep eating those 7-Eleven food.
I did not come to Japan just to eat 7-Eleven.
No, if you like 7-Eleven and that's all you want to eat, hey, you do you, Kings. Do it. Just keep doing it.
Yeah. 7-Eleven Japan is way different.
It is.
Yeah, they have meals ready for you to buy, and then you can heat it up in the front of the counter, like at the counter too.
They'll ask you if you want it heated up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is very nice.
This is something you'll learn really quick, but you will babble a lot when you communicate with other people. So when you come back, you need to remember bowing is not a thing we do in the United States. And that I almost did it at Costco. The first time I went to Costco after I came back, I almost bowed. It was so ingrained in me.
You probably heard them. It was so much.
It was crazy too. Was that we weren't even like purposely telling each other, "Oh, make sure to." Well, I mean, we probably like mentioned like
we just picked it up. Like we just picked up.
Yeah, we just like, oh, everyone else is doing it. That's what we do. And then it's just like it felt disrespectful not to do it. And then we just kind of did it naturally. It was kind of weird.
Another thing about convenience stores is trying out these nice beverages called chuhais.
Yes.
Strong.
Yes.
If you guys want like to get drunk, in
the morning,
or just have a nice drink before you leave or something, not to get drunk, just a little buzz.
In the morning.
Yeah, Dean recommends Juhas, which are like the best way to describe them is like
LaCroix.
soda but with alcohol.
LaCroix by alcohol.
Indeed. We also went to like at least once, I think, with your Navy buddy Dean when we went to that one
Yeah.
very
Izakaya.
yeah. Those bars where you could almost get like almost all you can. It's almost like all you can drink, but or at least it's very cheap alcohol
Yep.
that you could like get a lot for like a very low price. I don't think I drank just because like
I thought you
it's
drank.
more like I probably drank one, but I remember that one place we went to, that first place we went to, and
The mango sours.
the guy asked me, like, what drink do you want? And I just said Omizu. I was like, I just want water. And he's like, Ready? Are you sure? Are you sure? Honto desu ka? It's like, really? Came here for water?
I got a lemon sour. That was pretty good. I enjoyed that. But anyway, but if you want like a quick alcohol drink from like 7-Eleven or whatever, Juhais are pretty good. I haven't tried it myself, but I hear the beer there is pretty terrible. It's like very watery. So if you want beer, you could have that, but if you want alcohol, I would probably recommend the Juhai over the beer.
Yeah.
But again, I haven't tried the beer myself. It's just based off of what my friends have said about it. So.
I mean, to be fair, to me, just beer in general just tastes bad. So I probably wouldn't tell.
Yeah, but the beer apparently in Japan is especially bad compared to like the beer here too. So
yeah, well,
yeah, like Asahi, for example, here is terrible. So
that's why I hear too. But yeah, beer here, beer tastes bad too. So
it might be just
It's
preference.
a grain of salt. Yeah.
Yeah. It depends on your preference.
If you want to try it, then try it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Juhais are probably like they're probably a tastier fix for you.
Yeah. Get the one that says strong, 9%. There's a big label that says strong. That'll get you through the day.
Do we have anything else? I think we covered quite a bit already.
There's definitely a lot more stuff that we need to cover.
We probably have a lot more, but
yeah,
it's just not coming to mind.
No, make sure you're wearing
stuff coming to mind.
Make sure you're wearing something comfortable, especially shoes, because those bad boys, if you don't have them, like you don't have the comfortable ones, then you're walking around Japan, that's gonna take a toll on you.
Yeah, I don't know if any of you and your cousins are like this, but don't wear a suit and tie. I don't recommend it.
Yeah.
It gets pretty humid. So
yeah, especially in the
probably
summer.
a bad idea.
The humidity in Japan is no joke. There's like a couple people who I follow on Twitter who live in Japan right now, and the past couple days I've just been hearing them tweet about like, holy shit, the humidity in Japan is like awful. It's like terrible. Like they say like every time they walk outside they just want to die. And yeah.
I just remembered something important. So look to see if you have a functional washing machine wherever you're at. If it's at an Airbnb or whatever the fuck, or if there's one locally where you can wash your clothes, because the Airbnb we stayed at, our washing machine was terrible, and I think it didn't work.
It seemed like a novel idea in that the fact that it was both a washing machine and a dryer built into one. And when we looked at that, we thought like, oh, that's awesome. It was like, oh, Japan's so innovative. So we assumed it would be good.
Real dryer.
Yeah. So if your Airbnb washing machine doesn't work, try to find if there's a walkable one nearby, because that's important too.
Those are almost always better. And I'm not sure if it was due to the fact that it was just bad. It's most probably due to the fact it's just like not efficient, because
it was just a washer.
It was just a washer, but the label was all in Japanese. So get ready to be like using like Google Translate a lot, especially with the device, and that you can just like point your phone at the words and just like translate for you automatically through like video and all that. You're gonna be doing that a lot, especially in places that you will be staying at.
Or Deep L?
Deep L, yeah.
Deep L.
I think.
Apparently, Deep L is a lot more accurate than.
Yes, that's what I heard too, and that's actually what I've been using. Deep L is actually what I've been using to translate a lot of my French stuff as well. And I could go into like a little bit if there's like any personal references for anyone in your group that wants to learn Japanese, which I recommend. At least learning some Japanese before going to Japan, because it will be useful. And just if it's like a year away, that's like almost like a perfect amount of time to become like pretty confident in. But if you just want to learn a couple things, then just like a couple loan words that are also like okay too. But if you want to be like relatively comfortable, at least have one person in the group who's like able to like translate stuff to an acceptable degree and that you're able to survive a little bit, then I would recommend at least having like one person who's confident enough to like do that.
Yep.
To like talk to people, because you're definitely going to have at least one person in the group who's going to be all right. You're going to be the designated spokesperson for us. And
someone's a little salty.
no. It's true. It's true though. Like you have to like, as much as like it's easy to go by in Japan with just speaking English, there will be times where like, I really want to communicate with this person, and it's going to be kind of hard to do that when both parties don't understand each other. So I recommend whatever country you go to, at least having one person that has like some basic knowledge of the language to communicate with the people there.
Yeah, don't worry, you guys won't be a weeb if you guys try to learn Japanese when you guys are going into Japan. Okay?
Nah, it's literally
you guys are clear.
It's literally just a language that people speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else?
My thing would there's definitely like a couple other things as well. I forgot to mention this when we were talking about the ATMs. The ATMs are not 24/7, and same with the train system as well. It's not 24/7. There is a closing time, in that I think at a certain time of day, it closes.
Is it midnight?
1 a.m.
1 a.m.
Trains are like 1 a.m. I think the ATMs like close or shut down sooner than that. I think.
Yeah, it depends on the 7-Eleven. If you go,
it depends on the 7-Eleven. Like the 7-Elevens and the convenience stores themselves. I think the stores themselves are 24/7, but not the ATMs for some reason.
Really?
So if you, that's what I heard, but I could be wrong. Or maybe I thought the 7-Elevens were 24/7.
Yeah, the ATMs are 24/7 over there. I think what you're talking about is the
street ones,
the post office ATMs.
Post office.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I heard in some instances, because I thought this like applied to all ATMs, but I don't think we're very commonly going to ATMs like pretty late at night. I think by that time we were pretty tired and we just went home.
Yeah.
But I heard that the ATMs are not 24/7, and that only at certain times of days are you able to access your money. And so that's why, like, in a lot of instances, you see a lot of salarymen, a lot of business people just, like, sleeping on the streets or, like, sleeping at the subways because I guess, like, after a night of drinking, they're out of money and they couldn't use the trains to get home and all that. Yeah.
I just passed out.
Just passed out.
Do we have anything else for planning? Because I think after this part we can start telling them like places we recommend them to go.
Planning.
I mean, nothing beyond like the usual.
Get to your flight early.
Yeah, but this is just like basic like travel stuff in general, just not specific to Japan.
Yeah, I mean
it depends like how long you're going. Bring stuff like nail clippers, stuff for your toothbrush and all that, like, your bathroom utilities. And I say just, like, go over, like, multiple times, like, before you leave, just trying to think, like, what items do you think you'll need? And you'll probably always have that nagging feeling in the back of your head when you leave, is that, like, I forgot something at home. I should have brought this. That feeling's going to be there no matter what.
Yeah, and
unless you're really experienced.
That stuff's over there too. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that stuff is over there too, and you could very easily buy it at those same 7-Elevens and convenience stores that we talked about. And that convenience stores in Japan legitimately follow through with their name, and that they are convenient.
Yep.
And that if you need something, you could probably most likely find it at a convenience store, like cleaning supplies and all that. There's like a lot of stuff there. I mean, that's a given. That's some porn magazines there too. That's wild. But yeah, you can almost find anything. You can almost find anything at convenience stores in Japan, so don't worry about it too much if you forget something at home.
Yeah, they even have like the hangover cure.
Mm.
Where you drink it before you start drinking, and then the next day you
Yeah.
don't have a hangover.
All right, so Jim, you wanted to go over places you recommend visiting?
Yeah, might as well. I mean, I'm sure they'll have their own list, but might as well we give our input to see if they are interested in any of them.
Mm.
Roger.
The first one that kind of comes off the top of my head was probably the Tokyo Digital Art Museum in Odaiba, was it?
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
really dope. Well, that's still forever one of the proudest things I searched up that we went to.
Yeah. So it's in Odaiba, the Tokyo Digital Art Museum. Pretty much. I mean, we do have some stuff on our Instagrams and stuff. You're curious what it's like, but if you don't want to get spoiled, if you haven't seen it or you forgot what it looks like, then yeah, recommend going there. It's probably the top spot. It's just a really cool place to go to. I think it was like $35 or something a ticket, or like in 3,500 yen. I think conversion wise, it's
Probably-
roughly 100 yen. It's $1 basically.
Yeah,
Um,
it's pretty easy. So simply like the currency is that just think of it like in pennies or cents. In that
Yeah.
100 cents is like $1. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's about $35. For each ticket. I highly recommend that one. So that's definitely one.
Odaiba
Guys,
itself.
Odaiba itself, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
You can see the giant Gundam. There's a Gundam store, right? In the
Yes.
mall nearby the art
Yeah,
museum. Anyway,
Odaiba Mall. I don't know what it's fully called, but I just call it the Odaiba Mall.
yeah. So if you guys like Gundams, you guys can go to the Gundam store and they have like a shit ton of that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
There's Gundams over there. The mall. Round 1 is over there too.
Yeah. Round one, Japanese round one.
Japanese round 1. It's
Mhm.
crazy
Yeah.
over there.
Oh, actually, I just remembered something. I remember when we were talking about food earlier, and that I said like I don't remember having a bad food experience in Japan. I remember now when we went to the food court, and that the food
Oh,
the ramen there
it was mediocre. Yeah.
is very mediocre, especially in comparison to all the other food that we had in Japan. The food court food very mediocre. So
I had almu rice, and it was also pretty mediocre. And yeah, I'm assuming if I went to a better like a specialized place, I would have had better almu rice as well. So
mhm.
if you want to eat on the same day, you go to Odaiba. If you can't, try to find a better place instead
Yeah.
of the mall. So
Mhm.
yeah, so yeah, the mall there has some cool stuff. The Gundam shop's probably the one you guys might like the most, depending on what your cousins are into. But
Yep.
there's that.
There's this thing called the Rainbow Bridge in Odaiba too. If you
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, we never went on it, but I think
Well,
from
you can't
time to
go on
time
it
we're
because it's just a regular bridge, but like
okay.
at certain time, I think it was like sunset. The bridge has like a little rainbow thing because of the
Mm.
sun. And then yeah,
That's another one. Oh, there's a Ferris wheel there too. If you want to be in a Ferris wheel that feels more secure than American Ferris wheels, then you can go on that. Get a good view of like the area around you. That's nice. I think it was like $10 each or something.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, that was pretty neat, I guess. Anything else you guys have? I don't want to hog all the places. So.
no, just go ahead. Just go ahead.
yeah, go
Okay.
ahead. Go for it.
Another one would be the Tokyo Skytree. Also recommend that. I forgot how much it was for each person.
It's like 50.
I do remember it being quite a bit. Yeah.
It was pretty pricey, and
50
when
to
we're
like
talking,
$60.
yeah, and when we're talking about the Tokyo Skytree, don't get confused with Tokyo Tower because those are two different things. Tokyo Tower is good from what I hear. Never went. We just
I
went
went
to the Skytree.
They
Yeah.
fucked with you in
But-
the elevator.
The Tokyo Tower is like the older version. The Skytree is like a lot more recent. I think it was like I don't. It was like built sometime this century. Tokyo Tower was. It looks similar to like what the Eiffel Tower in France,
Yep.
similar but red. And it's definitely shorter than the Skytree.
There's
So-
I don't know remember the name of the park, but there's a park over there where there's really nice flowers. So if you
Mhm.
go to Tokyo Tower during the day, and once you're done touring it, you walk like like 2 to 3 blocks, and there's like a giant park, and then there's like really nice flowers, and take pictures of.
Mm-hmm.
I did this in my first year in Japan.
Yeah, I would recommend going to both. We
Yeah.
For some reason we didn't. I think we just didn't have time, and so we just wanted like we'll just go to like the taller building first, or we'll just only go to the taller building because that's the time we had. I think.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to Skytree, I think it's pretty much the same view as Tokyo Tower, but shorter. The Tokyo Tower is shorter.
And in Skytree, if I remember correctly, was it only at a certain time you can start going? I forget, but regardless, the view is better at night, only because I like pretty lights. So
yes, that just like further solidified my bias, and like I want a sky. I want a high-rise apartment one day when I'm rich, and I can just like overlook all the peons in the world.
Yeah, so so probably better for you to go at night. You can take some pictures. That's always cool, and the view is nice.
I do advise not to go during sunset peak because you'll get like the shittiest pictures because everyone's trying to get that neat sunset peak at fucking Skytree, Tokyo Skytree.
Honestly, I prefer just like the night
Go for
pictures
the night
instead of just like the sunset.
I tried the sunset and that was an awful experience over there.
Yep.
Another one would be probably the Pokemon store. If any of you guys are into Pokemon, it's like it's a store dedicated to Pokemon stuff of like every
Pokemon
kind.
Center.
Plushie. There's like plushies everywhere. There's like cell phone. What is that called? Cell phone. They're not skins. They're cases. There you go. Cases. Hats. I think there's hats and stuff. There's like Pokemon cards or Pokemon deck boxes and stickers, and there's like a whole bunch of shit there. So if you're into Pokemon, worth looking into. I forgot what the exact names of the locations are at though, but I'm sure if you Google it, you'll find something.
There's one in Yokohama, and then there's one at is it Ikebukuro? It's around Ikebukuro.
Yeah. And you can get like a plushie of like most Pokemon. Like I mean, the more popular ones, of course. You probably won't find anything of like Dunsparce or some shit, but for like I don't know, for Gyarados, you'll probably find something. And yeah, if you're like into Pokemon, that's probably a good spot to go to.
Yeah, a reminder for our listeners that we're mostly talking about our experiences when it came to Tokyo itself. Japan is a larger country, and there's much more to Japan than just Tokyo. But
yeah, like we said, we only went to Osaka and Tokyo, and in Osaka we only spent like 3 days there compared to the rest of our trip we spent in Tokyo. So
yeah, I remember most of our time in Tokyo. I don't remember so much about Osaka, unfortunately.
Oh, I remember.
There was the park that we.
There was the park. Cool. There was the park, and there's like other places we wanted to go to too. I think it was like some kind of like castle or something we wanted to go to, but that was under construction. It was closed.
I think it's done by
It was
now.
in renovation. Yeah. So
in Osaka,
other than park,
Osaka Castle, definitely we missed out on this one. I mean, yes and no, but the food there is very like the takoyaki over there is very good. Dotonbori, Running Man.
Oh,
street food was good there. I remember street food was really good in Osaka.
Chicken. Sadly, we couldn't like order.
Yep.
In time.
We did get takoyaki there. Mm-hmm. We were walking around. We got takoyaki. Make sure you give it like a few minutes for it to cool down before you bite on it. Just hot tip, like literal hot tip.
Yep.
That was a good time. That was a good time. One of the few times where me being picky was a plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to try KFC or McDonald's there, you can. Just know that, in my opinion, the McDonald's there wasn't that good, but the KFC was better than KFC here. So if you want to try those, you can.
Yeah, and the difference between here and there is that it looks like they actually use real chicken that's not fucking stored up with a bunch of like growth hormones.
Yeah.
And it's not as greasy or very little grease on their chicken compared to here.
What else? What other places? If you're in Osaka, you can do the hike that we did. Was it Minoo Park or something? Minu Park?
Yep.
That was a cool place to hike. You guys can hike there. There's like a waterfall and everything. I think Paul's profile picture on Facebook is that right now?
Yes. Yes.
Or is it? I think maybe Dean's as well, but maybe he
Yeah,
changed
the
it. I don't know.
waterfall. I think it's
Yeah,
so- It's a nice waterfall. You get some cool pics there.
Mm-hmm. Would have liked to climb up Mount Fuji, but I don't. Dean even said himself that he wouldn't recommend walking up there if you're not
Fit.
good fit with cardio.
Yeah.
Stairmaster.
Yep. Yeah, Stairmaster. That one I could justify using Stairmaster, but again, most of it's just like horizontal walking in most places.
See.
That
What
place
is it?
sucks.
Oh, I don't know. This doesn't matter for everybody, but a good thing to do is just to take in the culture of the country a little bit. Like going to shrines and stuff is cool. I enjoy doing that.
Yeah.
You'll have to Google like which shrines you want to go specifically, or which ones are the better places to go to. But you guys can spend like a day or half a day doing that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think we wanted to, but due to the scheduling conflicts with Ron, we wanted to go to Kyoto, I think, but
Yeah.
we had to skip over that. A lot of
Yeah.
the temples and shrines that you think about when you think of Japan is mostly in Kyoto, from what I hear.
Yeah,
And
so
that's a tourist hotspot as well.
yeah, so like that's like I enjoyed the shrines that we did go to, even though they weren't like the bigger ones.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys get a fortune, don't get too mad. If you guys get a shitty one,
I mean, I think all three of us guys should have won, didn't we?
if someone in your group, if one of your cousins is like, man,
No,
I'm
didn't
too
all
scared to
four
get a
of us-
fortune.
Didn't all four of us get like pretty shitty ones, like even
Yes.
Kenny?
I think
Yeah.
I got the least shitty. It was like, your life will be terrible, but you will win eventually. Like that was like the best that I got. I think I got the best out of the four of us.
Yeah, mine.
And
My shit just.
and then
said, "Go
Jeffrey.
back."
And
I don't-
Jeffrey was like, "Oh man, I don't want to read mine. I'm too scared to read mine." And then he reads it. It's like, "You will win. You will have a great life." And then
You will
he's like,
win at everything. I think
Je-
I think we were justifiably upset, not because that we got shit fortunes, but because Jeffrey got a good one. That's it.
Especially before he was like, "I'm scared. I don't want to read it. I'm superstitious that if it's bad, I don't want to go bad." And after he read his, it was like, "Oh, you're gonna have a good life." He later said, "Oh, don't worry, guys. It's just a fortune. It doesn't mean anything." Like to us who got like shittier fortunes, like fuck you, dude. But no, but that's always fun.
It was fun, indeed.
Another piece of culture you guys can do, which for me wasn't the best experience because I have a poor attention span. Was you can go to museums. We went to like one of them we went to a sports museum, and then another one we went to like a pretty much like a history museum, basically, right?
No, I think they were more or less the same thing, but they had like a sports exhibit specifically because of the Tokyo Olympics that was going to happen the year after, like in 2020. But COVID happens, so it was just like a specific exhibit on that first floor where they wanted to talk about sports in Japan.
But yeah, there was like another exhibit where it was like they showed like some history stuff. Like I just remember seeing like some suits of armor and like some carriages and shit.
Yeah, that was a different place we went.
For me, what happened with me was that I would go through from exhibit to exhibit, and then I would like wake up and realize I did not remember anything I just did for like the last like 10 minutes, and I just realized like, well, I don't think this is the spot for me because I learned absolutely nothing and I remember absolutely nothing from this.
Yeah, it
from
depends
the
or
museum.
not whether or not you like museums, and for some of them specifically, if you're like more of a history buff, which I am. So I was fascinated with that. I enjoyed the hell out of going to museums, but understandably, it's not for everyone. So
Yeah, but if you like that sort of thing, I'll probably recommend it then. But I know Joram, you're a history minor. So you might be more into it than I was.
yeah,
So yeah, who knows? Yeah, that's a thing too.
Yeah.
You guys can do.
Now for food recommendations,
Ramen and
We
sushi,
definitely-
nothing else.
ramen and sushi. But is there like any specific like ramen and sushi places that you would recommend going to, Dean? Because like for me, I would definitely recommend if you ever had like peppered lunch here in the United States, definitely get it in Japan. 'cause
Yes,
the
definitely
one
get
in-
peppered
the one-
lunch.
Yes,
Over there.
that's really good. First time I had it was not in Japan; it was in Singapore. second time I had it, I was in Cambodia because I was like on the same trip. And then when I came back home to the U.S., I'm like, oh, there's a pepper lunch here. That's local. I'm gonna try it out. Disappointment. I was like, it had no flavor. But
Yeah,
tried it again in Japan. Amazing.
Pepper Lunch is my number one restaurant of the trip because it was just delicious, and you just can't get it anywhere else. And then like
I mean,
with Coco's,
that's not true. You could definitely get it in other places, but
well, in the United States you can't.
United States, for some reason, the United States seems to bastardize any restaurant that touches its borders for some reason.
Yeah,
Blame
they
white people.
fucked it up.
Yeah.
Like I enjoyed Coco's too, but Pepper Lunch was just something else. Like I was like orgasming every bite. That's how good it was.
I would. Yeah, and you said like you preferred like what the dish I got instead more too, from what I remember.
No, I enjoyed mine too. I enjoyed I had some of yours. It was good too. It was just delicious all around.
Yeah,
Like,
I ain't gonna lie. When we were trying to find a place, it was like for some reason a pain in the ass to try to find like a pepper lunch we could go to. Every time we went to one, it was like closed because it was like the end of the day. I was like, fuck. And when we finally went to one, I was like low key just kind of sweating and nervousness because I was like, oh shit, I hope I didn't overhype this place too much. and that and like to you guys and specifically to myself and like, man, I hope it's just like not like.
And then there's
I remember that.
yeah, like one of it's like happens to be like the one bad location in all of Japan or some shit, and then we're like, what the fuck?
Or I was just like, man, I could have sworn it was better.
no
but
pepper lunch is out of this world, dude.
It was really good. It was really
Just
good.
imagine it was like the one bad location in Japan. Paul hyped it up, and we eat it. We're like, what the fuck, Paul?
Yeah.
Come on.
Like,
No.
It's really good for like being a chain restaurant too.
But no, it was delicious, and yeah, it's one of the foods I miss the most from Japan.
Sukiya, Matsuben, or Matsumiya, the two beef bowl kings.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh.
And as we said before, unagi. Get the unagi.
Yeah,
the
get the
unagi's
unagi
delicious.
don from.
Beef bowls are delicious too.
Yeah,
just get
beef bowls
those.
are delicious. Old Man Ramen by Yokosuka. I recommend that one. I think I only took Paul and Jeffrey there.
Yeah, that's a very specific location though.
I don't remember which ramen I like the best because it's been a while, but I remember the ramen place by the Skytree was pretty good. So
Yeah.
if you're going to Skytree at night, but then you want to eat ramen after or some shit, there's a ramen place like very close to it you can go to and eat there. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I don't know the name of it, but you know, if you stumble across it and it happens to be the same one, then you know, you'll probably like it.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's some other place and it's not as good, but you know,
Yeah, don't forget
there's that.
Hama Sushi or Kura Sushi is a lot cheaper than what we have here as well for Kura Sushi anyways, because it's like two for like one plate here. Then if you go to Japan, it's like 90 cents.
I've asked Joram one time where like, if you were to have to eat one food the rest of your life, what would it be? And he said sushi. So Japan is definitely the spot for you. So if you find a sushi place,
Take advantage.
Yeah, you're paying far less money for that sushi roll or you know pieces of sushi than you would here in America. Like I think for each plate it was like $1 or $2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that like rotating conveyor?
It's like it was a rotating place, and don't get me wrong. There's better sushi places, but where it would cost even more, but it would be better as well.
Yeah.
So there are those options as well. But for the one we ate at, it was just like $1 for like a few rolls or pieces of sushi, and you can just eat that like all day, and it will cost you far less. And like here in America, it will cost you like $15 a roll or some shit. But there, it only costs you like for the same amount of sushi, probably like $5.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
And yeah, when it comes to like food in Japan, it's like most places like I think like nine times out of 10 or like 99% of the time, the food and the service is going to be amazing. It's going to be great. You're going to be like, man, this is great. And if you come from the United States, you're like, when it comes to like really great service, especially when in restaurants, you'll be like, I want to tip. I want to tip these people for this outstanding service. And as much as you want to do that, as much as you want to tip,
I put the stuff that we went.
Yeah, and as much as you want to like tip this amazing service, you can't. Do not tip in Japan. Do not tip any money. You pay
can't
for your
tip
meal.
twice.
Yeah. Like I don't know if this is true or not, because I've heard different sides in that. Like, one, you don't do it because it's disrespectful, or don't do it because it's the workers feel like you're judging them. And then there's another Japanese person who I heard say like, you can't tip because it's literally illegal to tip in Japan.
Yep.
So it's the awkwardness in that, like, if it is illegal, then like you can't just can't just like tip them money. And I think this like applies to like any service too in Japan, not just like restaurants. So whenever you guys decide to go, just remember, don't tip. And some of you may like that, some of you won't. And
I mean, to be fair, I think they are correct on the no tipping thing. I don't like how we do it here. Like,
yeah,
I get it's one thing like, oh, dude, you did a really outstanding job being a waiter or whatever the fuck, so you tip them. But like at the same time, in America, this is more political than what this fucking podcast episode has been about. But here in America, like they get paid very little, and then they're expected to make money off of tips as like a wage, rather than having a living wage, and then they get tips on top of that. So I think they do it right over there.
Yeah. But in Japan, like they obviously, since there is no tipping culture.
Yeah.
I would assume that the workers are being paid an adequate amount. They're getting like a living wage and get paid
at least more than what we have here for sure.
Now, if it were like had both the tipping culture and the workers were also being paid well, then it probably makes a little bit more sense in the debate when it comes like whether or not do you want to like tip these people or not, Yeah. But in Japan, tipping is not a thing, so don't do it.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
And when it comes to the red light district, if you guys want to do that sort of thing, that's your sort of thing. Okay, Have fun.
Oh, that's one of the cons of Airbnb. You can't bring a guest, but there's a shit ton of love hotels.
There is
around the fucking in Japan that you won't even need to bring them over there in your Airbnb.
If that's like in the back of your mind, whether or not you want to admit it,
you think we forgot?
sex work is technically, I say technically on purpose, legal in Japan, as opposed to the United States, where in most states, including and Vegas ain't a state, but apparently in Vegas, sex work is apparently not legal either for some reason, which surprised me. But
in Japan, it seemed like some stuff. I could be wrong. It seems like it's legal up to a certain point. Once it's
a technicality on like some things.
Isn't like prostitution illegal? But then like if you work at a, I think
it's like they're talking about like penetration. You can't
like vaginal is illegal, but then I think anal is legal for some reason.
Yeah.
Not.
I don't understand. I understand why it might be a cultural thing. I just don't know. But.
It's Japanese law. It's like related to like after what happened when Japan had to sign the armistice after World War II. But that's the history there. Similar to like why Japanese porn. They have to like censor the genitals for some reason. That's also related to after
because there's actually no penetration.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think isn't it like the censoring is like, oh, you don't really know what's happening here. You can't see it. You can't prove it.
It's dumb Japanese law, but it's there and
have to work with it. Hey, if you're like, damn, hey cousins, I need to go get a massage, and then you go to like a soapy massage, and they do extra stuff, and that's your that's your prerogative, okay? That's your prerogative. Yep. You do you. Yep. You have a fun time.
Yep, you have good time.
Yeah,
and I don't think we need. Don't litter. Obviously, everything's like really clean.
Except in Shinjuku.
Yeah. The big problem. Get ready to, if you have like edible food with you and there's like a wrapper. Be prepared to not edibles. Yes, technically, but not those edibles. Get ready to put a lot of garbage into your bags or your backpacks, whatever you're carrying with you. and get ready to bring it home. Because for some reason in Tokyo, at least, you'll have a
there's no
hard time
trash
finding
cans.
trash cans. Yeah, just
Unless
hard
you
to find
like
trash
a
cans.
convenience store, and then that's where you dump your trash.
Yeah, some convenience stores or subway entrances, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, you'll almost never find a trash can anywhere. Despite the fact that the streets are really clean.
Also, if you're a 420 blaze it, it's illegal over there.
Yeah.
And
Unfortunately,
you will
yeah.
get arrested.
Yeah, it's one of the downer sides about Japan is that they are very anti-drug. So
yeah, the only place where I did see a lot of garbage, I think, was in Shinjuku.
Yeah, like, as soon as we got there too, it was like everywhere. I was so surprised.
It went from
like every other.
It went from everywhere clean to like Shinjuku, and you're like, what
I'll
the fuck?
name them right now. I'll name them.
Like, are we back in the U.S.?
Shinjuku, Ikebukuro, Shibuya, Roppongi, Yokosuka.
Yeah.
Top 5 dirtiest.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I didn't go to a lot of the other places. At least I didn't go to the dirtier parts of those places.
Mm-hmm.
And like I just remember Shinjuku. It was such a deep contrast to like every other place we were there before. You know,
the memory, the image that's burnt into my brain was when seeing that giant trash pile right in front of us as we exited the subway, and we came up to street level, and like I think a trash can was like pushed over or something. There's like McDonald's like wrappers on the grounds everywhere. Yeah. It was like.
Speaking of Shinjuku or Shibuya, there's actually like a teppanyaki, which is like a pepper lunch, where they sizzle the meat that actually could be pepper lunch.
Oh wow, nice!
And they're about roughly the same price.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's still there, but the pros is that it's all you can eat rice, and Japan, you have to serve yourself for the rice. So that was something I forgot to tell you guys, because it was just me and Big Ron when he was stationed there for a bit.
Ah, nice.
I mean, Shinjuku isn't all bad though. I mean, once you go further into the Shinjuku, it is really colorful and really lively. It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. It was just that one specific spot when we left.
Yeah,
really strong first impression.
I think once you like in that radius near the Shinjuku station, it just gets dirty and dirty the farther you are away from the Shinjuku station.
Yeah, I think
there's a red light district there too. It's not that hard to find, so you find yourself there. You know, you're there.
Yeah, you'll know when you're there.
If you see a Nigerian brother, just
say no.
Politely decline.
Say
just
no.
Politely decline.
Just say no. You can. You can tell them you're like Prince of Wakanda, but just say no afterwards.
I think I saw my only one and only homeless person in all of Japan there when we went to Shinjuku. Like. The first time I saw like a homeless person there was in Shinjuku, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Still a bunch of them there.
Yep.
I'm gonna put this. out. I already put it out on the chat, but you're in Japan. You gotta have a beach episode, you know. And then
ours wasn't that good, sadly.
I mean, we went there late.
Yeah, it was like later in the evening. It wasn't hot. It was kind of cool. So we went there for the sake of going there.
That was the same with the water too. We were in. It was like either warm spots and cold spots.
I would recommend.
Depending where you took it.
There's a beach, but I would recommend going to the shrine by the beach, which is the Buddha shrine, the giant Buddha shrine. That's a good tourist attraction over there.
There's a bunch of giant Buddhas everywhere.
The giant Buddha one, the one we went, and then we went to like a.
The one that was in Dr. Stone, Paul. Come on. But yeah,
it's the same one, I think.
Yeah, beach episode. It's gonna be packed depending on what time, but try to find a good day to do that.
Yeah.
Dean mentioned it in the Twitch chat. By the way, Joram, Dean put a lot of stuff in the Twitch chat if you haven't seen. While we're live, might as well try to get it down if you are interested in any of those places.
Yep.
Akihabara, like I know you like some anime. I know your cousin John likes anime a lot, so definitely hit up Akihabara. You'll really like it. There will be a lot of sex shops on the street, but
Hey, get some stuff over there too.
So if you find something you're interested, you could buy a DVD or two or whatever it is.
This may be my opinion, but I feel as though Akihabara is like kind of overhyped. In my opinion.
I expected a lot more from it because I thought it was bigger than it actually was.
Yeah, it felt more. It's just like a street. I felt like.
Yeah,
it's just a block. I wouldn't say street, but block.
Yeah, it definitely felt overhyped. So I say temper your expectations on Akihabara, and I think there's a lot of better places around in Tokyo.
Yeah, I legit thought it was like a neighborhood of just like weeb stuff, like anime stuff everywhere, but it wasn't.
Square block.
Yeah. It was definitely not what I expected, but it's still worth a look just to know, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's like if you really want merch, like anime merch, that's where to go.
Yeah, and again, for some reason, on top of a lot of these anime merch stuff, there's a lot of sex shops, like sex toys, sex DVDs.
Yeah, get some
porn stuff. Like it was a lot more than I was expecting. I thought maybe one store, but no, it was like across a couple of stores. It was weird.
Yeah, it's very common. Very common up on the upper floors.
I like that over there.
Yeah.
And if you're into Yu-Gi-Oh, there's card shops all around. So, or not just Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon.
If you want Dragon Ball.
Those Fire Emblem cards too.
Yeah,
I've never seen that.
They have a shit ton of.
Probably no Magic the Gathering though. Or actually, maybe there's like a couple.
No, there's definitely Magic the Gathering over there.
Okay, yeah. If any of you guys are into TCGs, you'll probably have quite a bit of fun there.
And I don't think we need to talk about the wonders of bidets. I think we've done that enough.
No, we've actually never done that before. Come on, do it again.
I recently installed mine today.
Yeah, indeed.
With the help of my older brother. And
yeah, you tried it yet?
10 minutes after, I had to go.
How was it?
It was pure bliss.
I remember the first wonder I had when I installed it at my house, and when I finally used it for the first time after Japan. It was amazing. It was pure bliss. And I'll just say for you guys, if you haven't tried out a bidet yet, first time it's gonna be weird. Second time, you're like, you know what? I can kind of.
It wasn't weird for me. I knew what I was gonna get, even though I was never on one before. I was just like, okay.
For some people who are not as open minded as we are, about bidets, we're definitely gonna think it's like, got a little jump at first, but you'll get used to it really quick, and then after that, you'll be like, how the hell am I supposed to go back to like pooping normally ever again with just paper towels and wiping?
Oh man,
here's a big tip that we learned on the trip. Okay, so if you're taking a shit or peeing sitting down for whatever reason, and you're on your phone and then you're on Google Translate, you want to know what this one button says, and it says video. I don't recommend pressing it, or you can press it and find out.
Tip.
And find out what it does, and maybe you'll even enjoy it. But just letting you guys know. Okay.
Does yours have
the video button?
The oscillating feature?
Yes, mine does, but I don't use it.
I use it today. It does wonderful.
I just I don't know. It just feels like it goes like high pressure, then low pressure, high pressure, and low pressure. I'm like, I just prefer just constant high pressure.
Oh, mine goes side to side.
Side to side?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we're an hour 13. And anything left about Japan you guys want to mention before we get off? I'm sure there'll be stuff after we end it where we're like, oh, dude, we forgot to talk about this or something. But
buy sake bottles, the big ones, because you can bring 2. Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, and my last words would just be like, just bring like comfortable walking shoes. I think we mentioned that before, but I really want to emphasize bring comfortable walking shoes because you'll be doing that a lot.
Yeah.
Bring clothes with like deep pockets for your wallet because you'll be carrying like a public transport card to help you go from place to place. You'll be using that card a lot.
We didn't mention the
public transport cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there'll be machines where you can get these cards. I think you can set it to English, so it'll help you get one.
Yeah.
But you can around each station there'll be machines where you can get a public transport card.
Yeah.
And then you pretty much just refill it with real life money, like you would.
Use your
Like
coins.
there's like, yeah.
Yep.
And you'll be using that to get from. You'll be using it for buses, for trains, for
Cabs.
bullet trains too, or no?
Yeah, you can use the bullet train ones, but it
But
has
yeah,
to be like
you have to like load it with a lot of money. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you mess up for some whatever reason with the gate system when trying to enter whatever line you're going to, you could always just talk to the worker that's on the side.
Oh yeah, they were
for
really
help, and they'll give you
very
a
nice and
refund.
helpful. Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah.
there was this one time the dude popped out of the fucking machine that scared the shit out of us. When I was I was in my when I was there for my first year, the dude popped out and scared the shit out of us. I was like, what the fuck?
Yep. They're trying to help you,
Yeah,
even
they're
if you
very
don't speak any Japanese. They probably have a relatively good idea what's happening, and they could help.
Yeah.
They get you like a full refund too.
I'm sure you guys you guys will definitely find stuff that stuff that we didn't even think about, or places we didn't go that you're interested in yourself. I'm sure it would be a good experience as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And with that'll be it, right, for everybody.
Yeah.
I guess so.
All right, and surprise, surprise, the three of us are going to Japan in June as well. Haha! We'll be right behind you guys on the plane.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna turn around and be like, Dean, Jim, Paul. We'll be right behind you guys.
Yeah, but I'm going AWOL in June.
Yeah, he's going AWOL in June. He's ditching the Marine Corps to go to Japan with us.
Yep.
Yeah. We're
Quick
planning.
thing mentioned.
Who knows?
Quick thing mentioned though. I will be going to Florida for my physical this coming Sunday. So it'll be a lot of fun for me.
One day, or is it till like Monday?
Yeah, no, I'm going. I'm just going to Florida for one day. That's it.
Is that what they gave you?
No. Legit, I will be going. I'll be arriving on Sunday, and then I will be returning back home on Wednesday.
Ah, okay.
So I'll be there for 4 days. No, I was being sarcastic.
I was about to say, damn, they fucked you over.
No. I'll be back Wednesday around like 10 or 11 p.m. So I'll definitely not be here for next week's podcast unless I somehow able to connect on the plane and one gets some really shit connection. Get from that Sky Wi-Fi,
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Before you do the outro, Paul, I'm gonna say one last thing.
All right.
Jerome, you're welcome for us doing this episode just for you. It's because we love you, baby. Come here, a kiss. Mwah. Did you do it, Jerome? All right. If you did, then I love you too.
Cool. Well, I guess we'll finish up there. If you guys enjoyed this week's episode, don't forget to follow us on our YouTube channel at the Nincompoops Podcast, as well as our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/the Nincompoops, for any live video chat, if you will. Anytime we go up at 6:30, usually 6:30. Not today's an exception. Today I forgot, but usually 6:30 every Wednesday. And
Not next week.
yeah, not next week. Maybe it'll be a 2-man thing. I don't know,
It'll be at
or maybe not. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. All right, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode, and hope you all have a good one.
All right. Goodbye.
Peace.